It's no secret that we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Food prices were up 8.9% in the year to August. Pain at the petrol pump continues. And even though annual inflation has dipped, it's still sitting well above the Reserve Bank's target at 6%. So if cost of living is front of mind as you cast your vote, listen up, because we've broken down all of the main parties' policies so you don't have to. First up, Labor would remove GST from fruit and vegetables, provide 2 weeks of paid partners' leave, and lift the Working for Families abatement threshold. This means your supermarket shop for fresh and frozen vegetables will be 15% cheaper from April 1 next year, with a Herald analysis finding the average household would be $5.63 better off each week.
This policy is aimed at the New Zealanders for whom every dollar at the checkout matters.
If you're a new parent, Labor's policy means you'll get 2 weeks paid leave to spend with your new addition and partner from July 1 next year. That would expand to 3 weeks by 2025 and 4 weeks by 2026. You can take it after or at the same time as the other parent. And the change to Working for Families support will mean families who earn up to $50,000 a year can get access to full support, as opposed to the current $42,700. When it comes to the cost of living, National is focused on income. If elected, the party plans to cut taxes, introduce tax rebates for childcare, and abolish fair pay agreements. Tax cuts need little explaining and would obviously leave more money in your back pocket. The 17.5% tax threshold would increase to $15,600, the 30% threshold to $53,500, and the 33% threshold to $78,100. National's Family Boost policy means if you've got young kids and you earn less than $180,000 a year, you could get up to $75 per week in childcare tax rebates, depending on exactly how much you earn. And in wanting to ease the financial pressure on businesses and business owners, the newly introduced fair pay agreements will be thrown out. When it comes to the Greens' plan to tackle the cost of living, it's honing in on low-income earners. The party would introduce a guaranteed weekly income, make your first $10,000 of income tax-free, and introduce a wealth tax. A guaranteed income would leave enough in your account to cover basic needs. That means $385 per week for singles, $770 per week for couples, and $735 for single parents.
This is the Green Party's promise to you that no matter what, you'll always have enough to afford the weekly shop, pay the rent, or cover unexpected costs.
Your first $10,000 tax-free is exactly as it sounds and means that for Kiwis earning less than $125,000 a year, they'd get a $16 to $26 income boost per week. And the wealthiest among us will face a 2.5% tax on net wealth greater than $2 million and jointly owned assets greater than $4 million. This includes things like property, shares, high-value artwork, and bonds. ACT is focused on simplifying our tax system to try and tackle the rising cost of living. It would introduce a 2-rate tax system, abolish fair pay agreements, and increase the retirement age. Forget everything you know about tax rate thresholds right now because ACT wants just 2.
ACT's alternative budget is a tall poppy chopping device.
That means if you're earning under $70,000 a year, you'll face a 17.5% tax rate, and for those earning over $70K, 28%. The lower rate would be introduced immediately, the higher one over 3 years. ACT says the newly introduced fair pay agreements are creating labour shortages which slow growth, so it wants to scrap them altogether. And if you were hoping to retire at 65, ACT will have you waiting a couple more years, increasing the age of eligibility for the NZ Super to 67 at a rate of 2 months per year. It would also unlink the KiwiSaver withdrawal age from the super age, so Kiwis can still withdraw funds at 65. New Zealand First would also tackle what's on our supermarket shelves and its cost of living policies, but it plans to go one step further. The party will remove GST from all fresh food. It would adjust income tax brackets to match inflation and compensate people who lost their jobs from vaccine mandates. Under New Zealand First, if you were to visit the supermarket, you'd save 15% on items like veggies, dairy, meat and fish.
Well, the average person depends on their disposable income. They've got no disposable income now after paying for their essentials, and we're going to make a significant change to that.
Adjusting income tax brackets to match inflation will mean, of course, more money in your pocket. And if you lost your job over the vaccine mandates, you'll get a payout and the role that you lost back under the party's policy. Lastly, Te Pāti Māori has also set its sights on taxes. It plans to make your first $30,000 tax-free, introduce a wealth tax and raise the minimum wage. That means the first $30,000 you make will be exempt from tax and you get to keep every single dollar. A wealth tax would start at a rate of 2% for net wealth over $2 million and up to 8% for net wealth over $10 million. And if you're currently on the minimum wage of $22.70 per hour, you can expect a pay bump to $25 per hour under Te Pāti Māori. You can also expect an annual increase to keep up with the cost of living. So now that you've heard all of the main party's major cost of living policies, it's time for you to decide.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. To stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald, click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.